Yeah, good afternoon all. I hope I'm audible to all. Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Tapan, Paras. Thank you very much. So this is the first session of generative AI. Along with me, Adarsh sir is there and Swagata sir is again with us, and he's going to moderate this session along with me. Welcome to this session, Adarsh sir. And before we start the session, I want to give you some idea. This is not a single day session. There are only three sessions are there on 17th, 19th, and 21. Correct. So it's my request to all the attendees, please join on time on 19th and 21st. Correct. There are three sessions. It is a 6 hours training, and it's my request everybody should adjust their batches accordingly, and please join this session because this is a very important session. Each and every session is a link together. So आज others sir generative AI के बारे में he will give some idea, and the next day session he is going to continue that things. So it is very important to attend all the attendees each and every session. Then only it will be helpful for you to understand the generative AI, the usage of that, and how we have incorporated AI tools in our different courses. So it's my request to all the faculty members to attend all three sessions. Over to you, Adarsh sir.
Thanks, sir. Thank you very much, Pradeep sir, for giving this opportunity for discussion of the AI. Now, I just want to request to everyone, please make it as far as interactive session. Don't keep it a monologue session that I'm just going to deliver the things and you are just going to listen these things, right? As much as we are able to interact, that much we are able to learn about this generative AI. We know like lot many things are going on in the generative AI. Lot many myths are there. Lot many perceptions are there. People are taking the generative AI in a different ways. But what exactly the right way and how we need to start it? It is a very important thing. Right? One important thing is that wherever you are having any kind of the queries, feel free to post in the chat box or in the question box, or raise your hand, so like we are able to address your concerns and the queries. Second most important thing is that in case of a generative AI, as many of you must be aware about the generative AI fundamentally, right? So there are many of the tools are available, right? So here we are not going to talk about a one specific tool, but foundation we are going to talk about that how the generative AI, how it is going to be work, and how the entire this landscape is going to be transformed. And gradually we are going to take on the things with the different tools uses. So that would be our entire flow of working with the generative AI. So in generative AI, if anyone of you could post like what they feel about the generative AI, just mention in the chat box so that we are able to start interacting and able to understand like what you feel about the generative AI. What is your perception, what you know? It is not the time that I'm going to evaluate you, that how much you know about the generative AI. It is just for my understanding that what you know about the generative AI. So feel free to mention in the chat box what is your opinion about the generative AI.
Yes,
Also,
kindly mention it in the chat box so that I can answer it to Adarsh sir. So whatever you feel, what is your perception of generative AI, if you can mention it in the chat box. Like how Adarsh sir has mentioned that we want to make this a very interactive session and not a one-way session where only one person is speaking. So anyone present in the session can write your opinion about what you feel, what generative AI is all about.
Well, this is the time we are not going to evaluate you. So be open in the discussion, right? So,
Yeah, so I'll tell you some of the answers which I have got, Adarsh. Like
right,
someone is saying that this can help increase productivity in our daily work.
perfect,
Someone mentioned it as it's a additional helping hand. It may be used to generate images, creating images using prompt, using AI to generate some content. It is a new revolution in industry. AI
all
can help us to think more creatively. So these are some of the answers which I have got. It is very good for concept art and quickly getting ideas across. For now, I can think it has ways to go till we can get a full length movies exactly as we want. We can create new content and ideas and more. Gen AI is a trained algorithm or program to generate text to image. It needs loads of data for feeding.
great,
Yeah, so these are the answers so far.
perfect. I think this is a very wonderful set of the answers we received, right? And we can understand many people are aware fundamentally or in brief like what exactly the generative AI, right? I would not say like it's an exact definition or I'm not going to put any kind of the comment, but everyone's answers are equally valuable. And I appreciate to all of you to come forward and giving the answer, answers of these things. So keep this kind of the same pace during this entire training session for all days, right? So that we are able to have the one interaction in between this. Now, this is very much true as many of the people saying like it is used to create generate the images or information or maybe for creating the images using the prompt. So many things are going to be come into the picture, right? But what I see that all these things are in discrete form, right? They are not in an order form what exactly it is, right? So just understand to learn any of the language. Let's say, for example, if you are learning about the English language, so there is a one process that how the English language is going to be worked on, right? That first you are going to learn about the alphabet, and then after you are going to be learn about the grammar. Then after you are going to learn how to write the sentences, then how to write the paragraph, right? So this is the exact way to learn any of the technology. I believe that all of you are the master in your domain, right? You are using some or other technologies, and how you are teaching to your kids, that is in a proper way, right? Step one, step two, step three, step four. Similarly, we are going to take forward for the generative AI in the same way, right? So this is the one of the basic things so that you can understand what exactly the generative AI, right? Also, if you people are having any kind of a confusion or maybe any kind of a negative thoughts or maybe someone or somewhere you heard about this generative AI, maybe it is going to be having a negative impact to the industry or the career profile. So feel free to ask those questions as well, right? Because it is a time that we need to fasten our seatbelts in terms of understanding these concepts and clear out all the clouds what we are having within our mind or maybe in our student's mind, right? So let's forward to this one. In this first session, what we are going to learn, we are going to understand basically what exactly the AI in its subsets, and introduction to the generative AI, and what exactly the LLM in the generative AI, LLM and generative AI combination, that how it is going to be work on, and the power of creations, increased efficiency and the speed, and the various use cases we are going to understand. After understanding these basic terminologies about the generative AI and the AI, so that we are able to classify both the things, what is AI and what is a generative AI. So first thing, we are going to clear all of those doubts. Then we are going to move forward about the prompts, because someone mentioned that we are able to use generative AI to create the images using the prompt. Maybe some of might be trying the prompts. So we are going to understand that what exactly the prompt is and why the prompt is important, right? And what are the basic principle of writing the prompt, right? We are going to understand all of those ones. Then what are the different prompting styles and the generative AI capabilities? This we are going to be learn in our first segment of this session. So first important thing comes about the AI, right? As AI is a one of the broad term, everyone knows like it's a artificial intelligence, right? If we are talking about the artificial intelligence, meaning to it, intelligence which is not coming from the human brain, right? But it is created. So we are saying that it is an artificial intelligence. So some intelligence which is not created by the human brain, and it is just going to create the with the help of a different kind of programming things and helping us in writing the programs and creating our task get executed. So all this is a part of the artificial intelligence. Just take this example, a small thing, that we all are having an intelligence, right? Let's say for example, if someone asks you like, okay, can you give me a pen, right? Here intelligence comes. We have not specified each and everything in terms of a pen, right? I ask you like, can you give me a pen, right? So here the intelligence, human intelligence is going to be come into the picture and see how it's work. So I say that can you give me a pen. I have not specified that what kind of a pen I require, what is the color of the pen I require, right? Where that pen is located, I have not specified, right? But you understand that, right? You apply your intelligence and pick up the pen, whatever the color is there, whatever the style is there, whatever the brand is there, and you given to me, and I'm satisfied with that, right? Whereas in case of artificial intelligence, it is not having that kind of a sense as the human brains are having, right? That's the reason we are saying it's an artificial intelligence, right? I believe this makes sense that what exactly the artificial intelligence is, right? The intelligence which is going to be inculcated by the human brains to get executed the task. But this artificial intelligence is not going to uh, like complete the task until unless we are not precisely specifying each and everything, right? We'll see that what is the meaning of this precise specification of the task, right? Say for example, if I want a pen, I need to precisely specify what kind of pen I require, right? We'll deep dive further into this segment, like how this artificial intelligence is going to be work into the picture. So this artificial intelligence is actually the branch of a computer science, right? And this branch is going to be focused on creating the system that can perform the task, right? That would normally require the human intelligence, right? So as I mentioned earlier, that I require a pen. I said, okay, can you give me a pen? Or let's say I asked to Swagata, Swagata, can you give me a pen? Swagata understand it. Being a human, he applies his intelligence and given me the pen, but I have not specified each and everything in this entire statement, right? So the human intelligence work in this way. Similarly, when we want the computer systems are going to be work or going to perform the task with the statement or the instructions what we are giving to them, so they are able to work in the similar way as the human is going to be work. So that's a artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is not a future at all, right? Some people say that artificial intelligence is going to be into the industry maybe after some time, or it requires a time. It's not the case. It is a present thing, right? There are a number of the AI job is available, right? And over a recent year, we are seeing a significant growth in the different kind of the job related to the artificial intelligence. According to the World Economic Forum, uh, this is the future of the job report, right? Here is the link is given already about this one. So it is a World Economic Forum site. They are saying that there are the 40% increase in the job which is related to the AI, right? Another important thing, AI is a one of the broader terminology, right? It is not just one thing, right? It encompasses to the machine learning, it encompasses to the neural network and a natural language processing and the robotics, right? We'll see exactly what exactly the machine learning is, right? What exactly the neural network is, what exactly the natural language processing. So one by one I'm going to take all these ones. Now when it comes, some people are get confused that robotics meaning artificial intelligence. It's not the case. Both are the different thing. Robotics is different, artificial intelligence is different, right? Now when we are talking about the machine learning, so machine learning meaning that we are going to train the machines, because machine cannot do any of the task what we want, right? We need to train the machine to execute our things as we want to get it done. So we are going to train the machine. It is a part of the machine learning, or in short, we are saying it's ML, right? So AI and ML is a one of the common terminology what the people are using as of now. So meaning to it, AI is considered as a one of the broad circle where the or inside that all these things are going to become up. First is machine learning. So we are going to give a lot of the sample data, and the machines are going to be trained, or the computers are going to be trained by using the different type of the computer programs. They recognize the patterns based on the different type of the algorithm and able to work on. Right? Let's say I give an example. There is a lot of mobile phones is going to be come up nowadays, where you are having a camera and you just click a picture, right? And let's take one of the simple example of the Google image search, right? So in case of the image search, uh, how many, just to out of this curiosity I want to ask, like how many have used the Google image search feature? I think most of the people have used this image search feature.
Yeah, so far I have 3 people who have used it.
Perfect. So I think this is the one of the common feature in the image search, right? So image search is one of the best example of the machine learning, right? When we are passing an image to the Google search engine, right? No matter what kind of an image you are passing, right? But it is able to figure out the relevant result according to the image what you are passing on, right? So how exactly it is going to be work on that every image what you are passing, it is just to collect the sample of that data, that within that image what are the different components are present, right? Or what are the features are present within that image, right? Based on that feature, it is going to give the result. So feature mean it is just a pattern, right? Let's say for example you passed this image of this pencil, right? So Google search is basically going to identify the different feature of this pencil, right? uh, in terms of a length or in terms of a structure, what kind of it looks like, right? Barring the color, right? All other parameters are going to be captured. Based on that, computer programs is going to recognize that pattern, and it is giving the relevant uh, result to me. So this is the best example to understand what exactly the machine learning is, right? Hope it makes sense to all of you. Now next thing comes about the neural network. So neural network is a next level of the thing where the human brain's neurons are going to be work on, right? And it is a part of the artificial intelligence, right? So let's say, for example, uh, if someone is going to pinch you, right? You understand, like, okay, someone is going to pinch you, meaning it's hurt you, right? So automatically you just pull your hand, right? So how all these things are going to be work on? This is with the help of our brain, right? Our brain is consists of the different type of the neurons, which is interconnected to each other, and they are keep on sending the signals to one another, right? And based on that, it is going to return the result to us. So there are certain programs which is based on the neural networks, right? And it is a high level of the programming, right, compared to the machine learning, right? So that's another part. Another is the natural language processing. Natural language processing is one of the most important segment in the artificial intelligence, right? Maximum program or the application in the artificial domain, they are just going to be work with the help of a natural language processing. Now, what is this natural language processing? Whatever I'm talking to you, you are able to understand, correct? Uh, Maybe my wordings could be a little bit different. Maybe I'm not using the proper grammar, what exactly it should be, right? But you are able to understand, correct? Similarly, computers are able to play this kind of a crucial role as well, right? The way we are going to be communicate, right? Based on that, machines are able to return us the result, right? Just not in terms of a speech, they are able to analyze the documents as well, right? It is a part of the natural language processing. Just to give an example of natural language processing application, that if you are having the iPhone, you are using the Siri. In case of Amazon, you are using the Alexa, right? In case of Google, right, you are using that Google AI tool, right, where you are going to communicate to it, right? Whatever you are speaking to the Siri, it understand, right? Maybe your statement is not a proper grammatically correct, but it is able to understand it, right? So you can try it at any given point of time, it is able to process the things. So this is the part of the natural language processing. It is one of the important kind of the application which we are seeing in a AI. And nowadays, most of the application which is related to the natural language processing only. Lastly, it comes about the robotics, right? Robotics means these are the machines which is able to assist the people without the human involvement, right? So we are having a certain predefined task in the machines, and they are able to execute those set of the tasks. So that's a robotics, but it is the part of again a artificial intelligence. I believe all of these are clear to you, that what is artificial intelligence and what are the different segment like AI, neural networks, and natural language processing, and the robotics. This is very important to understand before going into the generative AI, because all these things are related or linked to each other. So fundamentally, you should know what exactly it. If there are any questions related to it, feel free to post in the question box or the chat box.
No, so far we don't have any questions as of
Okay,
yet.
perfect,
Yeah. So if there are any questions, I'll let you know, others.
perfect, perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
So let's understand this AI and its subset, which is going to be used in the uh, generative AI, right? So generative AI, to which we are going to be focused within this entire session, it would be a subset of the deep learning. Now here you are seeing one of the new terms, that is of deep learning, right? So basically, if we look at this one, artificial intelligence actually started from the 1956, but it was only for the research point of view, but it was not for the production environment, or it is not going to be used for uh, any kind of application development, but it was just for the research point of view. People are using it as the artificial intelligence, right? Birth of the AI was in 1956. In 1997, the machine learning birth. Then after in 2017, deep learning comes, and in 2021, the generative AI comes. So this bigger circle, that is of artificial intelligence. Inside this, every of these things are going to become of, that is machine learning or a deep learning or the generative AI, right? So how they are interconnected to each other? Machine learning, artificial intelligence means that the intelligence which is artificially inculcate within the computer program, that's the artificial intelligence, right? When we are talking the machine learning, machine here is just going to be referred to the computer systems, right? Or any device which is having a different type of the chipsets, right? So how we are going to train those machines to get our task done, right? So here again we require the artificial intelligence. Without the artificial intelligence, machine learning cannot work, right? So this is a one of the important thing, that the artificial intelligence is a one of the bigger domain. Inside that we are having a machine learning, where the machines are going to be trained on the different type of the set of the task, how the things are going to be worked on. Then after, the next thing comes about the deep learning, right? So the deep learning meaning of it, that here we, in this scenario, the machines are going to be trained themselves, right? Whereas in case of the machine learning, we have trained the machine for a certain set of the task, right? Whereas in case of a deep learning, the machines are going to be learned by themselves, right? That's a part of the deep learning. I'm talking only in short or the concise way, that what exactly the deep learning, so that you can understand. We are not going to write down the program related to the deep learning, so I am not going to take towards that, just to understand fundamentally that what exactly the deep learning, so that you are able to communicate or able to explain to the people. So machine learning meaning that we are training the machines to get the task done, or performing the specific task to be done. That's a machine learning. In case of a deep learning, machines are going to be perform the task what we are assigning. Also, they are able to learn by themselves. It's a part of the deep learning. Lastly comes about the generative AI. In case of the generative AI, machines are learning by themselves. They are trained, right? Also, they are able to produce the result as per our requirement. When I'm saying that as per our requirement, meaning of it, as per the user requirement, they are able to create the result, right? So this is the generative AI, and here are nowadays, right? I hope this makes sense, that what is an artificial intelligence, what is in machine learning, what is deep learning, and what is a generative AI. Okay.
Okay. So I have a couple of questions.
Yes, please.
Will we also be learning LoRa models and how to upload them to Civit AI and how to use them?
Okay. Well, we are broadly going to be talk about the different type of these models, right? But again, to work on the generative AI, right? There are many of the tools are available, right? We are here to assist you. We are here to help you out to work with this different type of the model, because everyone could have the different type of the requirement, right? Maybe you are comfortable with the one model, maybe other is able to comfortable with other model, right? So precisely we are not going to be focused on a one specific type of the model, right? But in case of any issues or the challenges you are facing, or you have certain queries related to these models, you are feel free to ask to us. I hope it
Okay.
makes sense.
Yes. There is one more question, like when someone was exploring about AI, he read that there are two types of AI. One is traditional, the other one is generative. If you can, shed some light on this, what is traditional AI and what is generative AI?
Okay. So again, I'm repeating the same thing. This is the bigger circle is of AI, right? Which is an artificial intelligence. In this artificial intelligence, we are just writing a one simple program which is able to work based on a intelligence, right? Based on a certain kind of a human intelligence, we are able to inculcate within the computer program, and it is able to perform the things. So that's a just a traditional AI, what you are calling about, right? So I think it is clear. It is a one of the specific program which is just going to perform a specific task, right? And we are inculcating with the help of a different kind of algorithms, and the program is able to execute, and it is able to give the result to us, right? So this is an AI. When it comes to the generative AI, it is the enhanced version of this artificial intelligence after machine learning and the deep learning. So machine learning, in case of this one, we are training our computers, or our all these different devices which is having a different type of the chipset, we are training them to get executed a certain set of the task based on a different uh, training parameters what we are going to pass to them, right? Deep learning meaning that after passing those different parameters or training the machines, they are able to learn based on the different questions what we are passing to them. So that's a deep learning. When it comes to the generative AI, so in case of the generative AI, it is able to produce the result based on the user requirement. So that's a generative AI. Generative AI meaning that it is able to create the content as per your requirement. Whereas in case of a traditional AI, it is not able to generate the content, but it is able to execute a set of the task. I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And also one last question, what is the role of data in any type of AI?
Okay, that's a wonderful question. I will highly appreciate. This is a very good question it is asked, right? So to give an example that what is the role of the data, right? Without the data, no AI can work, right? It is an outermost circle of the artificial intelligence, right? So prior to the artificial intelligence, we require a certain data. Without the data, we are not able to work with the artificial intelligence. We are not able to work with the machine learning. We are not able to work with the deep learning. We are not able to work with the generative AI. So data is one of the crucial thing what we have, right? To simplify or to make it more understand to you that what exactly the data is linked or related to with this intelligence. Consider this example that we are having a city uh, transportation system. City transportation system is consist of the different type of the rickshaws or autos, city buses, or maybe the different type of the taxis, Ola and Uber, right? So that's a bigger circle, correct? And you will find the quantity of these city buses and these different taxis, Ola and Uber, or maybe the autos, or maybe other these mode of the transportation. They are huge, correct? When it comes to the inner circle of it, that is, if we will talk about the inside of this city transportation, that is a bigger circle which is helping or to mobilize the entire city. Now these are the different segment. If I will compare to that, so we can say this is a transportation system which is a kind of a interstate transportation, which is consists of buses or maybe the railway transportations, right? Let's say if you are in Mumbai or you need to travel to Pune, so you need to take either the bus or you need to take a taxi or you need to take a train, right? When it comes to the other inner circles, so maybe this is going to be come up like if you need to go from one state to another state, or we can talk about this one as a if you need to travel from one continent to another continent, or maybe from one country to another countries, right? But if you look at this bigger circle of this road transportation system, which is a city transportation system, that without that city transportation system, we are not able to connect all of these ones, right? Let's say, for example, from if you need to travel from your home to the railway station, you must have to take the any of the city transportation system, which is acting as a data into the AI scenario, right? So what you are having, that is an outermost circle which is consist of a different type of local transportation system, and this local transportation system is going to be connecting to your bus stations or the railway stations, or maybe the airports, or maybe the seaports or other places, correct? So that without that entire city transportation system, you are not able to achieve any other transportation system, right? So like the city transportation system is playing a crucial role in the transportation system, similarly data is playing a crucial role within the entire AI scenario. Without the data, we are not able to do anything. I hope it makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you can continue, Adarsh.
Perfect. So
Yeah.
let's understand more about the generative AI. So as we all know, our focus would be on generative AI. Those are the basic terminology which we need to understand first. Now we are talking about this generative AI. So it is a cutting edge technology that has the potential to revolutionize various industries and transform the way we are going to be living or working the things, right? So generative AI is having a potential to do a lot of the tasks. Still we are in the exploration process, or still we are going to working on the various experimental phases, that how the things are going to be work. But the scope is huge, right? As we have mentioned, generative AI or generative artificial intelligence, meaning of it, that we it is able to create the new content, or it is bring up the new data as per the requirement of the user, right? So this kind of the artificial intelligence is capable to create the content as per the user requirement. Now the content could be anything. It is a simple data, it could be the images, it could be the videos, music, text, or even the entire set of the conversation, right? When we are talking about the entire set of the conversation, meaning to it that let's say we are talking to each other, similarly we are able to talk with the generative AI, right? So it is able to work as your friend as well. So but you are able to communicate to your friend. Now this generative AI is going to be work on a one of the AI model which is called as LLM. LLM is a large language model, right? Uh, this can do a lot of the things at once, and they can summarize the long pieces of the writing, answering the questions, or short thing into the categorize, or what's more, whatever it comes in your mind, you can think of it and ask to the generative AI to do it for you, right? So here is the one of the crucial role comes for this LLM. So without the LLM thing, right, generative AI cannot work on. So the key success of generative AI is only the LLM, right? So we will discuss a little more brief about the LLM, that what exactly the LLM and how it plays a role into the generative AI scenario. So what is these LLMs? These are a deep learning algorithm, right? Now you are able to connect the dots of that first image which we have seen at different circles, right? So generative AI comes after the deep learning. So this large language model is a deep learning algorithm to understand and process the human language, right? Now when we are talking about this human language, right? So this human language is basically your NLP, right? Natural language processing, the way humans are going to be communicating, right? So these deep learning algorithms are able to understand and process the way humans are going to be communicated, and this capabilities is going to be come up with the help of this LLM, or the large language model, right? So it can perform many of the different tasks which is related to the natural language processing, as I already mentioned to you, such as language translation, text summarization, sentiment analysis, generating the new text, generating the new images, generating the new video, generating the new music, everything it is able to do it. So when we are talking about the what is this large language model, you can think of this large language model as a dictionary, right? I believe that all of you are familiar with the dictionary, right? Be it is a English to English dictionary, or English to Hindi, English to other language dictionary, or maybe English to German, or English to Spanish, whatever we are talking about, these are the different dictionaries what we are having, right? If you look at the size of the dictionary, is this too big, right? And we are not using all of the words or everything which is mentioned in the dictionary, right? If you can just recall maybe last time when you have explored the dictionary, so the dictionary is containing a one word. Let's say if you will just look for the word as understanding, right? So it will find the word as understand. Based on that understand, it will give you the different type of you know uh, verb forms. It will tell you like, okay, these are the different word forms, how you are going to use this understand word, right? So various explanation of the word understand would be there, but you are just focusing on the one which is useful for you. Similarly, these large language model, meaning of it, the language is consist of the large set of the data, right? Because here we are just going to be talk about the data. Without the data, we are not able to work with the AI. As I already mentioned you, that how the data is going to play a crucial role into the AI. So without the data, nothing is able to move on. So large language model is basically a set of the data, right, which is huge in terms of a size, right? And we are not using that entire data, but we are just using a part of the data. And what part of the data it has to use, that is going to be decided by this model with the help of a different type of the algorithms, right? So think it like a super smart robot, right, which can understand and generate the human language, right? So it will able to do how the things are going to be done by the humans, right? This is same as a large language model. So as we are having the different type of the dictionary, even if we will talk about English dictionary, we have Oxford dictionary, we have the Longman dictionary, or many other dictionaries, right? Similarly, these large language models, are many large language models are available into the market, right? And as per your choice, you are able to use any of those different models, right? It is your choice, whatever the models you want to use. So these are the few of the examples of the large language models, like GPT, which is a very common. We are talking about the Chat GPT. So it is a GPT is a one of the large language model. Llama, it is a product of the Facebook. Bloom, Palm, it is a product of the Google. BERT, and the Flynt 5. So these are the few of the large language model. Uh, some of the very popular, I would say that these are the very popular kind of the large language model. But if you will go into the deep down of this large language model, you will find somewhere around 700,000 large language model is present as on now, right? And every these models are having some or other capabilities, right? uh, Maybe some are having some features more, and whereas other model is not having that much of features. So depending on your requirement, how much comfortable you are working with the one model, you can select that one, right? So there is nothing like that, okay, these are the this is the one of the best large language model, we have to use this one. It is purely based on your requirement. Some of these large language models are having some advantages and the disadvantages. We need to understand that, right? So before working with any of these models, we need to check that. So how exactly these large language model are playing a crucial role? That, for example, we passed a one of this prompt, right? And this prompt goes to the large language model, and this large language model is processing this entire prompt and giving us the result. You can consider this large language model as a kitchen of a one restaurant, right? You visited a one of the restaurant, right? And waiter comes to you, you given the prompt to the waiter that what you want, right? Based on your requirement, it goes to the kitchen. You have specified, okay, you want this item, this item, this item. Your entire order which you have prompted, it goes to the kitchen, and kitchen is processing that entire your order and giving it to you or delivering it to you, right? This is how exactly the large language model works. Now, as I mentioned, we are having these different type of the large language model. So consider this scenario as we are having a different type of the restaurants, right? A Chinese restaurant, a South Indian restaurant, a continental restaurant, Asian Pacific restaurant, right? uh, if you are visiting one of the Chinese restaurant, can you expect that it is able to give you the one of the Indian dish? No, because that model is just capable or that kitchen is just capable to create the dishes which is related to the Chinese, right? Or having a flavor of the Chinese things, right? Because all the spices or the ingredients or maybe the type of the utensils they are having, they all related to the Chinese things. So these large language model is actually working in the same way, right? And these prompts is working just like your waiter, right? So the waiter comes and you given the prompt that goes to the kitchen and it processes. I think this makes sense to all of you. Is there any questions?
Yeah, no questions so far, Adarsh.
Okay, perfect. So now we understand so far that what is a large language model, right? And its capabilities, right? And every large language model is having its own capabilities and a certain pros and cons, right? Like the case of every restaurant cannot be the perfect restaurant, right? They have some of the pros and cons, right? Some are they are based on your feedback. They are going to be keep on improving the things. Similarly, these large language models are going to be worked on, right? Now, let's understand some of the power of this generative AI, right? Just understand uh, or just recall any of the complex project which you have worked in the past, which require a lot of time and the resources or the manpower involved within that project, right? Uh, in case of animation or design thing, or maybe in terms of VFX, I think this is one of the most time-consuming task. So could you just recall those things and just see like how much time you have invested within that, and how much resources was occupied? Maybe your machines was rendering the things for the overnight or maybe for the continuous for the 2 days. These things are going to be happen, right? And a lot of the manpowers are involved. Maybe one person is going to create a one sketching, other is going to be work just for coloring the things or what's not, right? uh, there are certain limitations as well, right? Due to expertise as well as the speed, right? So when we are talking about all of these things, right? So generative AI is actually going to be help us in terms of saving the time, in terms of saving the resource, in terms of saving the manpower, uh, which is going to be involved in so much of the monotonous kind of the job, right? Such as the rotoscopy, right? So it is a kind of a monotonous job, right? And a lot of the manpower is involved within this one. Lot much of the time is required, right? There are the certain limitations are there, right? And this is a task where people are not able to inculcate their own imaginations or not able to come up front with their own creativity or the imaginations, right? So basically generative AI is going to help you to automate those things, right? Also, this AI going to help you in performing all of these monotonous job, which is a lot of the kind of manpower is requiring. It is able to speed up or boost up those things, right? So what is going to be happen in this scenario, that we are able to focus more on our creativity, right? We are able to uncover our all of those imaginations which we want to inculcate or which we want to incorporate within our project, right? So that's one of the important thing. There are so many of the myths is going to be come up, might be because of this generative AI jobs are going on, right? There would not be no more jobs of in this area or that area, right? Actually this is all myth, right? It is actually going to boost up your efficiency, right? Whatever the task you are doing repetitively, it is going to minimize those kind of the tasks so that you are able to focus more on the creativity, more on the things which is requiring a niche human intelligence, right? So basically this generative AI is going to help you to you know uh, empower in terms of creating the project in a faster pace, right? in terms of you are able to uncover your entire creativity in a next level, right, which you are limited because of certain speed issue, or maybe certain restrictions is going to be coming, what's not. So that's one of the important thing. So this is the one of your kind of a taskmaster kind of the things you can think of as. So as we are talking about efficiency, so all of these automated or the manual tasks what you are going to perform, right? So you are able to save a time as well as the money. Like as I mentioned that for rendering of the things, or maybe so many of other tasks which is kind of a monotonous kind of the job which require to do the repetitive things. So you are able to save the time as well as the money, right? Another, the generating the content across the multiple medias like a text, image, videos, and audios, right? So you are able to create the content very fastly, right? And able to give up, result on the next level. Powers the content creation beyond the specific expertise, right? Maybe you have certain imagination in your mind, right? Might be some of the tools what you know, right, that is not sufficient to uh, create that kind of a content. It may possible, right? We could be the master of a one specific tool, right? Or we might able to work with a certain limited set of the tools, right? There could be various other restrictions can be possible, but with the help of the generative AI, we are able to create those kind of the content which is beyond our specific expertise, right? Another, it is explore the dozens of the ideas and the different type of the variations of the same idea in the minutes. Let's say, for example, if created a one of the image, right? If someone asks, can you create this same image with a small or a little variation within that one, right? You need to do a lot of task, or you need to perform a lot of iteration of that one, right? And it will require a lot of time as well. Whereas in case of a generative AI, it is able to deliver that result within the minutes. So that's a power of this generative AI, time and efficiency. Any question
Yes,
so far?
one question, Adarsh. Which LMS we need to focus on? If you can guide them on this.
Which LMS?
Yeah, which LLMS?
Okay, LLM. Basically, we can ideally it comes like what kind of a task we want to perform, right? Such as mid journey and stable diffusion, right? And these are actually providing a various finest kind of the result as compared to other LLMs what we are having, right? Why it is so? Because these are the coming in the first instance into the generative AI scenario, right? When I'm talking about the first instance of the generative AI scenario, meaning to this one, that like the case of the chat GPT is the first came into the market as compared to the co-pilot of the Microsoft, or as compared to the Gemini from the Google, right? So the capability of the chat GPT is on a higher side, because the generative AI keep on refining the things by itself, right? No LLMs are perfect. As I mentioned earlier also, no LLMs are perfect, but over a period of the time, they are going to be refined themselves, right? Because it is a part of the deep learning. So they are keep on learning the things as we are typing the prompts, they are learning the things, right? Most of these LLMs are stable diffusion or the mid journey. They are providing as on day a finest kind of the result as compared to the other LMS, right? Also, there are so many of other LLMs are available into the market. Maybe you can try those ones, right? Or maybe over a period of the time we are keep on sharing the different type of the content as well related to that.
Okay, so I have got one more question, others. Like
Yes.
now, AI, does this make people habitual and dependent? Like after mobile phones, people had stopped memorizing numbers. So does this make people forget their own abilities? Now, this person is not being negative, but he is just curious. So
Okay.
that's the reason this question has come up.
Perfect. I think this is a very good question, and everyone should focus in this answers as well. Basically, it is not going to make you habitual or the dependent, right? Why it is so? Because you people are into the creative domain, right? Machines cannot do the creative things. Only the humans can do the creative things, right? When it comes to mobile numbers, as you have mentioned that because of the mobile phones, people are not going to memorizing the phone numbers and dependent on the mobile phone itself. Basically, in case of this generative AI scenario, right, machines are not going to do the creative things, right? They are basically dependent on your instructions, what you are going to communicate to them, right? So it is not going to be habitual, right? Because ultimately it is a kind of a assistive tool, right? You cannot say that it is a complete or a full-fledged tool, right? Many of the situations we have seen that people are using those generative content, right? But further they need to refine those things as per their requirement, right? Because these machines, whatever the result is going to be generated, they are not as per our expectation 100%, right? Maybe it is 70% is as per our requirement, but further 30% we have to do it. Maybe the 80% is our requirement, 20% we have to do it, right? So the all these content, they are just going to be help you or able to do as a kind of a assistive thing, but they cannot be the complete tool which is able to take your job. Like the case of a mobile phone, it is just kind of a storage, right? So why you have mentioned like a mobile phone case to memorize the phone number. So basically if you look back, before the mobile phones, people used to write the phone numbers in the direct diaries by using the pen and paper, because we cannot memorize all the things within our brain, right? Similarly, when it comes to store something, that for the storage purpose you require some of the things where you are able to write down those content and able to save it. But in case of the generative AI, we are not writing down something. That's one of the important things. Here we are going to create the content, and the content creation is based on our requirement, right? And our requirement is keep on changing, right? So it is not the case that people are going to be habitual or dependent on this one. It is purely your choice whether you want to use the generative AI or you don't want to use the generative. Hope it makes sense.
Yeah, so there is one last question. Uh, are there any instances of an AI facing another AI, or one AI learns from another AI?
Okay, so basically this is a topic of the research, right? There are a lot of the research are going on where two AIs are trying to communicate to each other, but obviously that is not a part of the creative domain, but it is a part of a development domain where might be the robotics are going to be coming to the picture, and the robots are going to be trained with the help of the AI, and by using that AI both the robots are going to be communicate to each other, right? But still it is a topic of a research. It is not into the market as of now.
Yeah, so there are no more questions, Adarsh. You can continue.
Perfect, perfect. So now coming on to the part of these different use cases, so we can understand some of these use cases so that it will clear lot many things about the generative AI. Let's say, as the case one person mentioned, like whether it is kind of a habitual or a dependent kind of the thing. So let's say, for example, if you want to create a one of the concept art, right? So that concept art is basically on demand, right? So that's possible with the help of a generative AI, right? Let's say, for example, you are, you know, describing your dream creature, or maybe some of the fantastic landscape to some magic machine or something like that, right? So you can create those kind of the content with the help of a generative AI. Or maybe uh, you are going to create some of the, you know, special effects by creating some of the hyper realistic explosion or swirling for fire tornado. So those kind of the things can be generated with the help of a generative AI. These are few of the examples which you know, able to help you to connect with the current scenario, that how it is going to help you, right? Maybe a lot many other examples can come up when we are going to further working with the different tools, right? So I think you are able to connect these dots. Okay, these are the instances where we have to do a lot of many of you know, manual tasks which the generative AI is able to create for us. So let's take some of these just a glimpse of these immense potential of this generative AI which holds, and promising to revolutionize the industry, right? Not just a creative industry, it is actually going to be revolutionize all the industries, be it a legal, be it as a you know, computer softwares, be it a individual task like such as a lawyers, right? Or maybe the HR persons, right? Or what's not. So it is able to revolutionize entire different industries, and everyone is able to use the generative AI as per their requirement, right? And ultimately improving the human experience in a countless ways, right? So this is just to you know, change the way we are doing the things, right? So this is you know, one of the assistive tool for you, which is able to change this entire landscape with the way we are going to do the things. Now we are going to do the things in a different way, right? Just to make you understand, I hope like most of you are aware with the typewriters. You know about the typewriters?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So there was a time when the typewriters was having a dominance within the entire industry, right? All the offices were having a typewriters, and people are sitting over the typewriters and typing the different type of the documents, right? But when the computers came into the market, then people was feeling that because of the computers, maybe uh, they will not have the no more jobs, right? Or maybe there will be no more jobs in the industry. But they did not realize the typewriter, this computers are just a replacement of the typewriter, because the technology was enhanced, right? It was having a lot more capability what the typewriter cannot do. So by at that time, the people who are able to like understand this thing, that okay, because of the computers came into the market and typewriters are going to be replaced by the computers, they start learning about the computers, and they are able to sustain into the industry, right? The same thing is going to become into the generative AI domain, right? This is just a one of the technology. If we are not changing ourselves according to the time, we are not able to sustain into the industry, right? We need to understand that all these technologies are changing over a period of time, right? Maybe some of you guys are having a 10 years or a 20 years of experience, right? You have seen the different type of the softwares came into the market, but because of the one software, right, or one of the more powerful software comes into the market, because of that, jobs are not going to be curtailed, right? Only the skill sets are changed with in the demand, right? So this the same thing is going to be happen here. So, is there any questions related to this one, or else we are going to move forward to the prompt engineering?
Yeah, there are no questions so far, Adarsh. You can continue.
Perfect, perfect. So let's come on to the prompt engineering, right? Or in short, we are saying is a prompt. Most commonly, people are talking about the prompt. What is prompt, right? So prompt means that we are asking something, right? That's a prompt. And the prompt we are writing or we are using, right? There are the certain techniques there. That's the reason it is given the prompt engineering. The name is given as prompt engineering, right? There is a certain science behind writing the prompts. It's not the case whatever is comes into your mind and you type it, right? And it is giving you the result. It's not the case. It's a systematic approach, right? Let's say, for example, how you understand this prompt engineering with the example. Let's say you need to construct one of the house, right? You are having a piece of the land and you want to construct the house over that piece of land. What is going to be happen? You are going to meet up with the one of the architect, right? That architect is going to create a one of the design layout, like okay, this kind of the house would be look like. Then after you are going to meet with the one of the civil engineer. Civil engineer will decide that how the construction will take place. What should be the depth of the foundation, and what kind of a wall should be there. What kind of a mixture should be there of a sand and cement, and what kind of a bricks are going to be placed. All this is a part of the engineering process, right? And your entire beautiful house is going to be constructed. Similarly, the prompt engineering is going to be coming, right? If you want to construct a one of the, or you want to get a one of the beautiful output, what is your imagination, or as per your imagination, right? You want that output, you should know the concept of the prompt engineering. So the term engineering refers, it is not something that we are going to teach you something about the engineering, but it is just a science how to use the prompt, right? Like the case of construction of the building, right? You are going to learn about this entire one, or you are calling a one of the civil engineering who is going to define that how this house could be constructed, this beautiful house could be constructed. If you are not calling a one of the civil engineer, in that case, the house might not be constructed as well as we want, right? Or as good as we want, right? It might be a vague shape, it might be incomplete, or it might be inaccurate, what's not. So this is all about the prompt engineering. So this is refers that how we are going to be interact with the LLMs or the large language models. The way we are going to be interacting with the large language models, right? This prompt engineering is a one way by which we are able to communicate to them. So it is a process of designing and optimizing the prompt used in the natural language process model, such as the GPTs, chatbots, or the virtual assistant, right? Why I mention all of these ones so that you understand it. It is a process of designing and optimizing the prompt used in the natural language processing. Let's say you are giving a some of the assignment to your students, right? So you are specifying in the natural language what they need to design, right? What kind of a output you want from them, right? And you are precisely giving all the things in detail that what exactly you are expecting from them, right? So that's a natural language you have used there to communicate to your students, like, okay, you want this kind of output, you want this kind of a design, or you want this kind of a layout, correct? So you use that natural language, right, and communicate to your students like, I want this kind of a design or layout, right? They are using the different type of the tools and generating the output as per your requirement. Similarly, when it comes to the computer system, so we are having these different type of the models, right? Such as we are having the llama, we are having the GPT, and many other ones, right? They are using all these natural language processing, right? Or the chatbots or the virtual assistant, why I mentioned, so that you are able to connect those dots and understand that how the prompt engineering is working. I believe that all of you are uh, you know like to purchase from the uh, Amazon or the Flipkart, right? They are having the chatbots is going to be coming. So let's say you want to know what is the status of your order, right? So you just type here that I want to know the order status. Now this natural language processing in computer system is not going to understand this entire statement. They are just going to pick up the two words, that is order, another is the status. Based on that, it is giving the result, right? If you will talk, if you will communicate to the chatbot, like where is my order, right? So it understands where and the order, and it gives the status of the order. So this is how exactly the natural language is going to be processed by the computer system, right? And this is a part of the prompt engineering, right? Then this involves the crafting the prompt that is clear, concise, effective in eliciting the desired response, right? It is not the case that you are just giving a one vague kind of the input to the system or the model, and it is giving the result. If you are giving the, it is working same philosophy of garbage in, garbage out, right? As clear you are going to mention, as concise you are going to mention, right, that effective output is going to be come to you, right? So the prompt engineering is like making an effective fishing layer, just as well as design layer is more likely to catch the fish you want, right? A well-crafted prompt is more likely to elicit the desired response, right? So this is the key thing. Without the proper prompt, you are not able to get the proper output, right? So understanding the different type of the prompts, how you need to write the prompt, it is going to make the difference here, right? If your prompt is not well designed, it is not well crafted, it is not clear, right? Output is going to become accordingly, right? So crafting of the prompt is playing a one of the crucial role here in the generative AI, because it is going to create the content. Let's take an example. If you are visiting a one of the restaurant, right? If you have not given the instructions to the waiter clearly, right? Or the person who is going to be come at your uh, table to take the order, if you have not given the clear instructions that what kind of a food you want, what kind of a spices you want in the food, you are not going to get the desired food, right? You will find a food which is going to be served to you, which is a generic kind of a preparation, right? So if you are precisely saying that, okay, I want more spices in this, right? Or I want more green chili in this one, or maybe you want more onions in this one, right? Whatever the dish you want, you are precisely specifying that what you want, and accordingly your dish is going to be crafted. Similarly, the way you are going to give the prompt to the large language model, that way this large language model is crafting the responses to you. I think it makes sense to you. Most important thing, clarity is the key, right? Specific specificity what we are having, or the context what we are providing, those are going to play a one of the crucial role in the prompt. So the prompt engineering is a one of the key success to work in the generative AI. So let's move forward to it. Why this prompt engineering? Because machine require the improved communication, right? Or clear communication. So the effective prompts you can use to improve the ability to communicate with others, right? For the impactful communication, it requires that your message should be loud and the clear, right? So similarly, when it comes with the generative AI, if your message is loud and clear, right, then you are able to get the desired output what you want, right? So if our communication is not clear, right, or our message is not effective, obviously we are not able to get that kind of a response what we are expecting. It is going to be happen in all the scenarios, be it in the presentations or maybe in our meetings or maybe when we are sending the emails to someone, right? So clarity is one of the key success in this one, right? Another one, prompt engineering is involved generating creative and the original ideas which can help stimulate your own imaginations and the problem solving is, right? So it requires whatever is coming within your mind, that is imagination, right? How beautifully you have to craft your imagination in the form of a text, right? That beautiful output you are going to get. So the original idea what you are having within your mind, right, at least you are able to write down that idea properly, right? If you are not having the clarity in your mind that what kind of output you want or what kind of a image you want, right, obviously you are not going to get the clear output what exactly is your requirement, right? Another important thing, this prompt engineering is not something which you are able to quickly learn it, right? It requires a practice, right? And over a period of the time when you will keep on writing these prompts, right, you are able to refine your skills. It is the same case that when you have started learning about the English language or maybe any other language, right, you could not be the master in a one day, right? It requires an iterative process over a period of the time. When you are keep on practicing the things, it is going to create or it is able to help you to generate the high quality of the output, right? So don't think in this way that okay, today if we have finished all these things, tomorrow you are able to write the prompts in a very effective way. It's not possible. It requires a time, it requires a practice, everyday practice, refining the thing. There are the various things is going to be come up in the refinement. We'll discuss about that, and finally we are able to get what exactly we want. Another, the process of creating a prompt often involves evaluating the different perspective, considering the various factors which can lead the better informed decisions, right? So you need to define the different perspective, different factors, that what kind of image you want, and what color you want, what color you don't want. Each and everything you have to specify that, right? And meaning to all the different perspective, whatever is going to become within your mind, you need to write down all those ones. Based on that, uh, you are able to get your desired output. Then a professional development team. Many industries value the employees who possess the strong prompt engineering skills, and they can contribute the efficiency, innovation, and collaboration within the teams. So this is nowadays the need with the every organization. They require the people who are able to write the effective prompts, right? Because as effective you are able to write or communicate to the LLM, that effective output you are able to get. So there is a lot of the requirement are there in the different industries, not in a one kind of industries, in all the different industries, that how strongly you are able to write the prompt, right? So any questions so far?
No, we don't have any questions so far.
Perfect. So there are some of the principles of the prompt engineering, right? And those principles of this prompt engineering is, first is clarity, as I mentioned, right? Ensure their prompt is unambiguous, right? Ambiguity meaning to say that something which is tangled to one another, right? So that should be not the case. Your prompt should be very clear, right? Let's say, for example, if you are ordering for a spicy food, right? So there should not be any kind of ambiguity, because the spices or the food uh, could be spicy because of the chilies or because of the other herbs as well, right? So when you are saying that you want spicy food, it's an ambiguous statement. You need to precisely say that what kind of a spicy you want. It is more about the chili or more about the different herbs, right? So this is the clarity should be there and easy to understand. using the simple language rather than using the complicated language or using the various technical terms you are using, right? As much technical terms you are using or unnecessary technical terms you are using, your entire clarities goes out, right? Because the LLMs is not able to understand most of the technical terms, right? It should be the plain English terms, right? Next comes as a contextual relevance. So consider the context in which the prompt will be used, taking into the account any background information or assumptions that AI model may need to know in order to produce an appropriate response, right? So the most important thing is that you need to consider any of the context, whatever you want to apply within it, right? So the context what you are giving to the system, right, or the AI model, based on that, it is going to give you the result. Let's say, for example, you are giving a one of the context like generate a scene of a forest, right? So you have given a context here, right? Uh, but the prompt what you have written that generate a scene of a forest, correct? But in this one, you just specify that you want a scene of the forest, but you have not specified all the assumptions or the background information about that scene, right? So maybe you can refine this prompt like generate a scene of a lush ancient forest, right, with a warm light of sunrise, right? So you are giving the entire context within it, right? Because if you will see that generate a scene of the forest, so it can generate anything, right? But you are not giving the exact assumptions what you want, right? You are not giving the entire background information what you want. So here we are going to give them the generate a scene of lush ancient green forest with a warm light of sunrise, right? So it is able to produce an appropriate response to you. Another is the creativity. So the creativity, meaning that exploration by formulating the prompts that challenge the AI model to think outside the box and consider the novel solutions, right? So let's say, for example, if you are saying to a one of the prompt like, okay, create an image of a dragon, right? So it's a one of the generic statement what you are giving to the uh, model, right? So it will create a one of the dragon, right? But the dragon might not be as per your requirement. So it's better you need to add more of this creativity. The generate a detailed digital painting of majestic red dragon and soaring through a stormy sky. Likewise, right? So it will be able to enhance the things and able to think outside the box, right? And able to generate the relevant output to you. Another important thing, don't try to write the one of the statement in a one go, right? Always break the task in the small chunk. Like for example, I said that create a dragon, so that's a one of the small chunk of the information. Okay, I want a dragon image, but what kind of a dragon I want, right? Maybe I want a oil paint, maybe I want a digital painting, maybe I want a sketch of the dragon, right? Add that one. So the small chunks, as you are adding within your prompts, you are getting the better result, right? So you are just going to add a one step, one step, one step, and finally you are getting a complete output what exactly you want, right? Always iterate and improve, right? It's the one of the key success in the generative AI. The output what you are going to get from the generative AI, right, might not work 100% in a one go, right? The output which is generated by the generative AI in the first instance might not be appropriate as you want, right? So you need to rework on the inputs again and again, right? So that model is able to refine the things again and again and give you the exact output what you want. At times, the words what we are using, that words are going to play one of the crucial role as well, right? We'll understand about that words play, right, within the upcoming sessions, that how the words are going to play one of the important role in iterating and improving the performance of the generative AI. Another most important thing, that is, we need to always consider the ethical implication of the prompt, right? Because as we are seeing nowadays, there are a lot of the unethical practices are going to be come into the picture, right? So we need to understand the ethical implications of the prompt as well as the large language model, right? Ensuring that it does not promote any of the harmful or the discriminatory behaviors or any of the biased information, right? Even if at times we have observed that people are creating these kind of a discriminatory statements as well, like create an image of a black color people, right? So these are the discriminatory statement that you are emphasizing on the color of a human, right? So those kind of a discriminatory behaviors or writing in the prompt might not able to go well with the prompt engineering or the generative AI, right? At times, some of these large language models, as they have refined themselves further, so if you are writing some of these discriminatory or the harmful content, they will block all of your statements, whatever you are writing, and it will say that I am not able to generate the result what you are asking for, right? So these kind of a statement nowadays we are seeing a lot. So be mindful, right? Always use the ethical practices, right? Don't try to promote any kind of a harmful content or a discriminatory kind of the content. Even harmful content in some countries, like if you are adding the things like, okay, generate an image of a person smoking a cigarette, right? So those kind of a statement is also considered the harmful content, right? Or maybe if you are passing the statement like about related to the alcohol, or maybe about some of the drug abuse, so those kind of the content is also considered the harmful content. Might be some of the models will go well with those content, but others might not go well with the these kind of the content. So depending on the different models, this is the practices what they have opted, but over a period of the time it is going to be developed and various other ethical implications are going to be coming to the different models. So this is the different ways that we are able to refine our prompts.
Just one question in between, Adarsh.
Yes, please.
Now, yeah, does AI learn from our questions or commands every time we ask it a question, or
Yes.
is it some other way?
No. Every time, whatever the statement we are passing to it, right, it is going to learn from those statements as well, right? That's the reason we are saying at times that this model is not mature model, right? It needs to refine itself, or it needs to be further refined, right? So whatever the statement you are passing, if you'll just go through with their terms and condition, so whatever the prompts you are passing to any of the models, they are collecting those prompts, right? Further in the background, those prompts are going to be analyzed and going to change the behavior of the model, right? So Agatha, you know it very well, right? That the first generation of stable diffusion or the mid journey, the kind of the output we are getting and kind
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
output we are getting, right? So
yeah,
these prompts, what we have given in the first generation, that output was not that refined, but now that output is so refined,
correct.
right? So all of the statement, whatever we are passing, it will keep on storing those statements.
Absolutely.
Okay. So now coming on the anatomy of the prompt, right? So the anatomy of the prompt is says that how one of the prompt is going to be constructed, right? What you need to write first and what you need to write next, right? It is something like that when we are talking about writing a one of the English statement, right? So in case of the English statement, there are certain, anatomy how you need to write a English statement, where you need to write a, uh, verb, where you need to write a, adjective. So the location is clearly defined, right? You cannot change their position. If you are changing their position, meaning of it, either they are going to make a nonsense thing, or they are going to be illegal thing. Not sorry, not a illegal, but it is a illogical thing, right? So the anatomy of the prompt is the same thing, that how you are going to instruct the system, right? So let's say, for example, uh, if you are going to give a one of the instruction, generate a high resolution image, right? So this is the first of the statement what we are giving. So meaning to it, this subject, right? We are defining what the AI should focus, right, on within your instruction. This could be a character, object, or environment, or even a specific action. So generate a high resolution image of Mickey Mouse, right? Or maybe generate a high resolution image of a monkey, generate a high resolution image of a cat or a dog or a lion. So you are defining the subject first, right? Uh, so your prompt should start with the one of these statements, generate, and then after you are specifying that what kind of an image you want, right? So I mentioned here high resolution image. Then I'm specifying the subject, right? After the subject, right, you need to define the style, right? That okay, you are defining subject with the style, correct? So first thing, that what the image generation you want, then you are defining the subject of what kind of the image you want, or the subject you want. Then after, you are defining the style. Maybe it is a cartoonist style, maybe it is a realistic style, or a futuristic, or whimsical, or maybe other kind of the style. There are a lot many of the styles are available. So you need to define that different type of the style. Afterwards, you need to give an option of the detailing, which is purely optional part. But as detail you are giving, that detail output you are going to get. So maybe in the detail you can add the specific kind of a color, or you are able to add the specific kind of textures, or the emotions, or even the actions you are able to add, right? So the one of the refined anatomy of the prompt is going to be come up, that you are defining that what exactly the task you want to perform, right? First you are defining that what kind of a task it has to perform, then you are defining the subject, right? Then you are defining the style, then you are defining the further details, right? Maybe it is a hyper realistic or a realistic, or as much detail you want to add, you can add that detail. Maybe you want a vibrant sunrise background, right? So whatever is there, you are able to specify the detailing as well. So basically, this is a one of the anatomy of the prompt, that first you need to define that the kind of the task you need to perform. Second, you need to define the subject, and third, you need to define the style, and fourth, you need to define the detail. Detail is purely optional thing, right? And as much detail as you are adding, that kind of a refined output you are going to get. So that's the anatomy of the prompt. I think it makes sense to you.
Yeah, no questions so far. So I think,
Perfect.
yeah.
So, for example, like we are giving the instructions in this way, that classifying the test into the natural, negative, or the positive, whatever we want, right? We'll see more about these statements. We'll see the more about these different type of the prompt, small prompts, how exactly we are able to use. And then after the sentiments, which is basically the part of the output indicator or the detailing output, right? We'll see those instructions, how it is going to be written it. Now, next thing comes about the different styles of the prompt, right? So when we are talking about the style of the prompt, meaning of it, it is basically describing uh, our tailored approach for the prompt, right? Just like an artist is using the different brush stroke for the different effects, right? This is the same way you craft your prompt, which can influence the AI's output, right? So you can consider some of these, styles here. One is called as a directive style, right? So in case of this directive style, what we are doing here, we are providing the explicit instructions or the guidance to the AI model, telling it precisely what to do or say, right? So that's a directive style. Another is a generative style. In this case, we are inviting the AI model to generate the new ideas or the concept based on the information or the input we have provided. Another is called as reflective style, right? In this case, reflective style, the prompt is going to encourage for the introspection and the reflection, and asking the AI model to consider its own experience, thoughts, or the feeling. So that's a reflective style. So meaning wherever the emotions is going to be coming to the picture, we are able to use this reflective style. Exploratory style. In this exploratory style, uh, this type of the prompt is going to be challenge the AI model to explore the unfamiliar territories and asking to discover the new facts, theories, or the hypotheses. So we are able to do the various kind of these explorations as well, right? So these different type of the style what we are having, we'll see these different type of the prompts techniques as well, right, in the upcoming sessions, that what are these different type of the style prompts we are using, right, and how their impact is going to become on the output as well. If we are talking about the capabilities, so the generative AI capabilities are immense, right? They are not just limited for one thing or two things. We are having lots many of the AI tools available nowadays, and we broadly classify in a one of the category of the visuals. So there are the image generators, design generators, video generators. When it comes to the audio, we are having the music generator or the voice generators, text generators. Also, we are having the code generators for the programming aspect, and various other different type of the generative tools is available into the market, which is able to work into the medical domain, right? So, or maybe into the lawyer's domain, or other different domains are there. So we are having these different type of the generative AI tools is available into the market. So this is just a beginning of generative AI. So any questions so far? No. Okay,
No, nothing as of yet.
perfect. So we are moving forward to this one. And this step is of power of the text prompting, where we are going to understand that what are the different type of the text promptings are there, and how we are able to take the leverage of this text prompting, right? So different type of the prompts what we are writing, how it is going to be transform the entire working. So we will understand about the text prompts and iterative techniques, summarization techniques, and inference techniques, transformation techniques, and the practical applications of the prompt. So first we are going to understand the text prompt. So the text prompt is, it is just like you are going to be communicate or having conversation with a super intelligent robot, right? As I already mentioned earlier, right? So the text prompts are like a starting point of the conversation, right? So they are basically the statements or the questions you use to guide the LLM to elicit the desired response, right? So basically what is going to be happen, this is the way that how we are going to be communicating with the LLM. So that's the text prompting. And it is similar, like we are having a normal communication or a human communication what we are having. So similar way this text prompting is going to be work on. There are the many ways to phrase a prompt depending on the desired outcome. So some of these common type of the prompts, they are including of the direct questions, right? Such as what is the capital of the France, right? So it is a direct question you are asking to it, and it is giving the reply of it. Or maybe you can ask in a indirect questions as well, that I'm trying to remember the name of the city which serves as the capital of the France, right? So you see here that how we are going to be communicate, right? Naturally, this is the way that we are asking, right? Maybe I can ask you like, okay, can you tell me the capital of India, right? It's a direct question. And maybe indirect question could be, oh, I forget the capital of India. So automatically you say, okay, capital of India means New Delhi, something like that. So it's a indirect question. A statement with the implied questions as well, right? So it is something like that. Tell me about the Eiffel Tower. It implies the question that what is Eiffel Tower, right? Maybe you watch the one of the movie and your friend asks, like, okay, can you tell me about the movie what you have watched? So it is basically the statement which is implied the questions, right? You are not directly asking like what is the storyline of the movie, but your question is automatically sending the signal to the receiver that you want to know what is the storyline of the movie, right? Another is request for a certain type of the output. Let's say, for example, write a short paragraph describing the concept of the artificial intelligence. So here you are describing one of the specific task what needs to be performed, correct? So this is basically the kind of the text prompting what we are using in case of generative AI. One is the direct questions, another is the indirect questions, another is statement with the implied questions, right? Another is the request for a certain type of the output, right? So that we can consider as a communication with the AI or the communication with the generative AI. Then there are some of the important parameters is going to be come up to understand the text prompting, right? So what are those considerations is going to be come into the picture? That is, first is ambiguity, right? So these are the challenges where our model is not able to give the appropriate answer. When the ambiguity is there, right, it is going to address the challenge of ambiguous prompt and how they can lead to varied or unexpected responses, right? So if there is a ambiguity in the statements or in the prompts, we are not able to get the expected response, right? We are going to get the weird kind of the response. Another is the relevance, where we are going to discuss the challenges of ensuring prompts are relevant to task at hand, right? So whenever we are going to write the prompts, right, those prompts have a certain relevance to each other, right? If the two statements you are writing in a one prompt, if they are not having the relevance, right, both of those statements are not having the relevance, we are not going to get the exact output what we require, right? Third challenge is going to be come up as a biased information, right? So this is the potential for the bias in the prompt and the impact on the AI responses is going to be come up. The information what we are passing to the AI or for the prompt, that is a biased information, right? So when these things are going to be happen, so we are not able to expect the right kind of the output. To get the perfect output as per our requirement, first and the foremost thing is that clear and the concise. You need to stress the importance of keeping the prompt clear and to the point, right? It should not be so lengthy, right? It should have the the area where you need to give the importance, you need to emphasize on those aspects. It should be very clear. Contextual relevance should be there. So emphasize the need of the prompt to be contextually relevant. And the third is iterative refinement. So as we have mentioned earlier also, that the output what you are getting in a one time, that would not be the fine output. Maybe you need to write that you know prompt again and again, or maybe you need to change the wordings, maybe you need to use the different kind of a synonyms. Then after we are able to get the exact count of the output. At times you are finding that some of the prompts output you have seen, they are very fine kind of the outputs, whereas other outputs you are seeing that they are very vague kind of the output, because the people who are sharing you with a vague kind of the output, meaning they have not used the iterative refinement approach, right? If we are using those iterative refinement approach, we are able to get the refined output, or as per our expectations, what kind of a result should be there, we are able to get that. We'll see those approaches as well as we will progress further in the prompt writing things. So this is an iterative technique from the prompt. So iterative techniques of the prompt is, it is going to be work in this way, that uh, this technique in context of the text prompt refer to the process of repetitively refining and adjusting the text prompt used to interact with the AI system. Consider this scenario that you are writing a one of the mail for a one job, right? So when you are writing a mail for a certain job, in that case, what is going to be happen, that you write a one of the draft mail, then after review that mail, right? Then after reviewing, you find, okay, some of the statements are not right, or maybe they need to be changed with some other words. So you are refining it. Similarly, when you are giving the prompts to the model, so this iterative techniques defines that you have to keep on changing the statement or adjusting the text of the prompt, so that you are able to get the output what you want. So first thing is the sheet prompt, right? So sheet prompt is basically your starting point, right? It should be a concise, clear prompt that lays on the groundwork of your entire LLM, right? So as the this word says, it's a kind of a providing a shielding for your entire output. So let's say, for example, you are saying create a short story about a robot who dreams of becoming a musician, right? Now, when you are giving this statement, so it's a shading prompt, right? That create a short story about a robot who dreams of becoming a musician, right? So you have given this prompt to the system. It will generate some of the responses, right? And when you are finding the response from the system, you might not get the exact thoughts or the idea what is going in your mind, right? That you might have the different kind of a storyline, but it is that model is generating a different kind of a storyline. So the harvested result you are having, right? You are going to analyze that result, right? And after analyzing that result, you are going to be more focused and changing the approach to it, right? So after that, the generated response you are receiving, right? You are understanding in terms of a length, or maybe you want a different variation, you want a certain changes within that statement. So accordingly, your statements are going to be changed on, right? So let's say, for example, you are giving up another prompt here. Uh, for example, write a dialogue scene between the two characters, right? Now, in this case, this is a sheet prompt, right? The output you will get, that output is just going to serve as a foundation for the your prompt or the future task, that write a dialogue scene between the two characters. Here you have not specified that what kind of a conversation you require, what kind of a dialogue you require. So you need to more refine to it, right? So refinement, like generate a humorous dialogue scene between a nervous gobbling and grumping troll, right? So that way the things are going to be refined further, right? So maybe you can write down many other ways to refine the prompts. That's not a one way what I'm telling you, right? Maybe you can just change the statement, or maybe just use a different kind of a synonym as well. And depending on that, it is going to generate you the output. So there could be many other techniques are there. So iteration is actually providing you the way how the things are going to be uh, working for the prompts. One is these iterative techniques is, one is contextual relevance, which provides more context in the prompt to guide the AI toward the relevant response. Adjust the amount and type of context based on the AI's previous response, right? So the previous response what you got, based on that you are going to adjust the tone, maybe you are going to adjust the style, or maybe you are going to specify more about the scene or what's not. So that's a contextual reference. Then specificity and the clarity, make the prompt more specific to guide the AI towards a particular aspect or the type of response, right? Ensure that the prompts are clear and free from ambiguity for the prevent misinterpretation, right? So the statement what you are giving, those statements should be very clear, right? They are not going to be misunderstood or misinterpreted by the system, right? So as clear statement you are going to give to the system, right, that clear output you are going to get. Let's say for example you are giving a one of the prompt, create a character design, right? It is having the limited specificity, right? That you just mention a create a character design. So it will create a character design, but you have not specified like what kind of a character design you want, right? What are the different parameters should be there, but you can enhance it further. Designed a young female character in her early 20s with vibrant green hair, right, and a mischievous grin. She wears a leather jacket and ripped jeans likewise. So you are giving the more clarity to the model. So accordingly, it is able to give the perfect kind of the output. Experimenting with the different prompt structure, we can try the different type of the prompt, like descriptive, instructional, open-ended, and see which works best for our task. So there are the different ways we are able to write these kind of the prompt, right? And based on these descriptive, instructional, and open-ended, we are able to see like, okay, which is going to be work best for us, because not every time a one kind of a task is going to be work for everyone, right? Experimental with the structure of the prompt, like order or the questions, or use a specific phrase. So we can experiment so many things. So as much we are experimenting the things, we are able to get the output of it. Any questions so far? Is there any questions?
Yeah, there is one question so far. Like, is there any AI tool to fine tune or refine or make it more subjective and precise? Is there any AI tool which they can use to make the prompts more subjective, or they can fine tune the prompts, make the prompts more precise?
Okay. So basically there is no tool is available to make it more precise or to refine it, right? It is our human brain who is able to refine those prompts, right? If the machine is able to do all these things, then our intelligence is useless, right? Understand this thing. Artificial intelligence, right? Be it your machine learning, deep learning, or the generative AI, or the generative artificial intelligence, right? It is not comparable to the human intelligence, right? So you are not having any kind of the tool that is able to refine your prompts, right? Prompts need to refine by the humans only, right? There is no tool is available who can refine your entire prompt what you have written, right? Because the refinement is coming from your brain. Let's say you created one of the image, right? And the object is placed near the tree, but you don't want the near the tree, so you need to refine the prompt by yourself. AI cannot refine those things, right? Hope it makes sense to you. So the refinement kind of the thing cannot be
Yeah. Uh, so generative AI. Okay, if somebody has a language problem or a language barrier, then how that person is supposed to write a prompt? Hello?
Yeah, Saugata, actually, other screen is facing some issue, I think.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it is a internet issue. Yeah, others, actually, your screen is freeze and your video is freeze, actually. You are not audible. You are muted, actually. No, you are not audible. No, audible. So do one thing, just to log off and log in again. I think it could be possible because of
Yeah,
some, yeah.
that might solve the problem.
No, others, you are not audible. But your video is visible, screen is visible, your voice is not, you are not
Yeah,
audible.
the screen is shared, but we cannot hear you.
No, no.
No, you're not audible.
So what I suggest others, just log off and log in again. It happens sometime because of the internet jerk and all. It could be
Yeah.
possible. Log off and log in again. No, no, no. Your voice is not. We are not. We are not able to understand you. Actually, you are not audible. So wait for a few minutes. Others is again re-login. So it's my request. Wait for another 2 minutes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah, I'm not getting that option.
Yeah. Just a second. I'm going to give you rights. Now you can present your screen. There is a presenter option is there.
It's coming.
Yeah. Perfect. Now we can see your screen and share your. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, Swagata. Please ask questions.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah. So, others, like if somebody has a language barrier, then what can that person do to write prompts? Can ChatGPT provide a solution to this?
Okay. So, well, ChatGPT can again help assist you at a certain extent, right? In terms of finding the synonyms or in terms of rewriting those statements, right? Whatever the statement you have written, so maybe it can provide a variance of those statements, correct? But the kind of the output you are expecting, that is coming from your mind, so that cannot be changed by the AI itself. That idea should come from your mind, right? That idea cannot be regenerated or recreated by the chat gpt, or maybe the co-pilot, or maybe the hugging faces, or maybe any other these llms, text based llms, right? But they are able to assist you in terms of writing those statement in the different variations, right? Maybe at times they are using the word as good, other time they are writing the word as best. Another thing is that when you are facing the challenge in terms of a language, right, I would suggest that you should use the some of the translator, such as a Google Translate, right? In the Google Translate, maybe you can use your own language, whatever your mother tongue is there, or whatever you feel like, okay, this is the one of the best language what I know, and I am able to communicate properly or clearly what exactly I want, right? So that translator is able to convert your statement into the English language, right? Ensure that statement what you are passing through the translator, those statement should be very clear in the nature. Hope it makes sense.
Yeah. Acha, others, there is one question.
Yes,
You had mentioned that generative AI, there are three types. One is visual, second is audio. What
yes.
is the third one which you had mentioned?
Okay, so one is you are having the visual, right? Another you are having text based, another you are having audio, right? And another you are having the code generator, right? Apart from this, we are having various other AI model is coming into the market. Some are very specific to the literature, some are very specific to the uh, medical science. So there are various other these generative AI models are going to be evolved into the market. When I'm talking about the literature, So there are various LLMs are available which are related to some of the religious uh, titles such as a Bible or maybe Gita or Mahabharat or Ramayana. So those kind of LLMs is also available into the market, right? And based on those models, you are able to create your own system as well, right? So what predominantly this industry is going to be asking about the text based, where ChatGPT or maybe the Copilot or maybe the Google Gemini are going to be used, or maybe the Claude. These are the few of the very popular into the text one. Another is the image based like a Mid Journey, Delhi, or Stable Diffusion, or many others are there. Other ones, you are having the coding related, where you are able to generate the program code as well, right? A different programming language code you are able to generate. Another, you are having various audio related things, where you are able to clone the voice, or maybe you are able to create a new music as well, completely a new music, right? So these are the various common LLMs are available. Hope it makes
Yeah.
sense.
So yeah. So no questions so far. You can continue.
Okay, perfect. Now it comes to the summarization techniques. Why summarization is required, right? This is a very important technique what we are seeing into the prompts. Let's say, for example, you are writing a script for your animation, right? But you have a massive document filled with the detailed backstory and various other things are there, right? At times we are having that, okay, you need to create a story of just within the 10 seconds, right? But the entire script which generated by this generative AI, that cannot be finished within the 10 seconds, right? Maybe it requires a 1 minute time or 2 minutes time, because that entire script is so long. So this summarization technique is help you that you are able to summarize that entire content as per your requirement, right? So it is able to condense your information, right, into a concise as well as focused things or the focused area, right? So your storyline is not going to be distracted, right? Whereas the duration, what we are having, let's say of 1 minute or 2 minutes, and we want concise for a 10 seconds, so it is able to do it, right? So that's the reason this summarization technique is required. This is not in case of using these scripting thing. At times it is required for other purpose as well, that we are having one of the long book and we want summarize the content of the book, so we can use that as well, right? There are various these summarization techniques are there, right? Which is basically going to condense your document as per your requirement. So any of the lengthy story line what you are having, or maybe the entire animation what you are going to create, it is not in sync with this one, uh, the entire story which is generated by your generative AI, you are able to summarize that one. Or maybe the scene you need to summarize, or maybe certain dialogues you need to trim. All these things can be done with the help of a summarizing technique for the prompt. There are the various kind of these summarization techniques are there. One is the extraction based, right? This involves in selecting the important part of the text and combining them, right? So let's say, for example, there is a dialogue is there, you want to trim that dialogue, right? Now when you want to trim the dialogue, you want to focus on a certain aspect, you can keep that, right? So by using this extraction based summarization, we are able to make it happen. Another is the abstraction based summarization. So this is involving the generating the new sentences that convey the essence of the original, right? So it requires a more advanced AI capability, as it involves understanding and rephrasing the content. So these are the two summarization techniques we are having, right? Based on these two summarization techniques, we are able to summarize our content, right? Again, out of these two summarization techniques, there is uh, not a criteria. This is the right summarization technique, or this is the wrong summarization technique. This is purely based on our requirement, right? In case of an extraction, it does not involve the creating the new sentences. Rather, it is choosing the most relevant information from the original text, right? So we just want to extract something, right? Or this is something like the book we are having a preface, right? So the book's preface is basically the extraction summarization. Whereas abstract summarization, meaning that it requires a more advanced capability which involves understanding and rephrasing the content. Let's say, for example, I read one of the book and I create the preface of that book. So that abstraction is uh, requiring a lot of the capability, advanced capability, that I am able to write the entire page of about the book, so I can understand and rephrase all the things as per my thought process of the idea. So this is an abstraction based summarization. So depending on requirement, we are able to use these ones. Various use cases we will see in the upcoming sessions. Another is called as a inference in the text prompting, right? So the inference in the text prompting refers the process of making the logical deductions or the conclusion based on the information provided in the prompt. So how it works? Let's say you are given a one of the prompt, right? That prompt, how the LLM is going to be understand that entire prompt, it is just going to break logically that entire prompt what you are passing to the LLM, right? Based the logical distribution of your entire statement, it is going to generate the output, right? So if we know this inference technique, right, that how to make the logical deductions and the conclusion based on the information provided, right, so that the prompt is able to work efficiently or the effectively for us, right? So you should know which comes first and which comes last, right? If we are not able to make those logical shifting of the statement, we are not able to get the output what we require, right? Let's say, for example, you are going to create a one of the artwork, right? First, you are going to set the background. Then after, you are going to create the, elements on that background, right? So that is a logical steps which you are following. That backgrounds you have created a first. Then after, you are placing the different elements over that background, right? So it makes a logical arrangement of the components or a logical arrangement of the objects. So if you are not making those kind of a logical statement, right? So obviously we are not going to get the output what we require, right? It will be too big. So this inference is actually involves understanding of the context, identifying the key information, using reasoning to arrive at a specific conclusion and understanding, which may not be explicitly stated in the prompt. So at times, the information what we are going to pass on, right? So our LLMs are going to understand those statements as per their understanding, right? So you need to be very sure the clarity part is going to be come up over here. If you are not going to give that clarity, what exactly comes first or what exactly comes last, right? So that is not going to be making a one of the specific conclusion where you need to reach on, right? It is using its own thought process, or the entire model is using its own approach to generate the output. So be specific in this one, understand the entire context, right? It's better you write initially, it is always recommended, write down all those prompts what you want on a piece of paper, right? And then understand that whether you are able to understand those prompts properly or not, right? Or give that prompt to your peers, and ask them that whether you are able to understand that what I have written, right? What does it mean, right? And if they say that I understand this one, the statement what you have written, the meaning of this statement is this one, and if that idea which is translated by your peers is exactly what you are thinking, if it differs, then refine your prompt. So inference is one of the important key player in this. Inference in the text prompting is a complex process which involves combining the linguistic understanding, logical reasoning, and sometimes the creativity to interpret and respond to the prompt effectively. That's the reason I'm saying that whenever you are writing a certain prompt, write on a paper, give to your peers and ask that what they understand from that prompt, right? By doing this one, it is able to develop a skill within you that you are able to write the prompt adequately, appropriately as per the LLMs, right? If your prompt or the statement what you have written is able to understood thoroughly, properly by the other person, meaning to it that you are moving in the right direction. If that person is not able to understand properly or misinterpreting something, then you need to revise that statement and give it to that one. Before passing through the any of the these LLMs, it's better use this approach so that you are able to develop this skill. So writing the prompt is just one skill which you need to develop over a period of the time, and it will come only with the help of the practice. The next thing comes about the transformation techniques of the prompt. So there are the various kind of a transformation techniques which is used to modify or enhance the wording structure, context the prompt before it is presented to the AI system. So the goal is to elicit more accurate, relevant, and the useful responses from the AI models. So we have the different type of these transformation techniques. One is direct modification, contextual enrichment, question formatting, and the multiple prompts. So this is actually goes just right after the inference, right? So inference means that I written a one prompt and given to you and understand from you whether you understand entire my thought process what I have written on a piece of paper, right? If you say that you understand that the meaning of this entire statement is this one, right? Whereas my thought or my brain is having some different ideas or thought, meaning to it, I need to transform this one, right? So transformation, it could be in terms of a context enrichment, or maybe I need to use the question from formatting there, or maybe use the multiple prompts. Multiple prompts means maybe I will ask to my peer that, okay, tell me if I want like a background in the gray color, so how you will understand this, right? He or she will say like I will interpret this background in the gray color in these different ways, right? So I take that point and will try to refine my prompts. So the transformation of the prompts are going to be happen. So there are the various ways. The direct modification I am going to perform. If I understood thoroughly, I will make the direct modification in the prompt. If they are saying something which is related to the context, so I'm going to enrich those contexts. Maybe I will ask some of the questions related to the formatting, or maybe I will try to break down the multiple prompts as well. So these are the different transformation techniques of the prompt. Direct modification, it's a straightforward adjustment in the wording and the structure of the prompt, as I mentioned, right? For example, the weather is nice today. Into a question, is this is the weather nice today, right? So it can elicit more detailed response from the AI. So meaning to you this, that if you are saying the weather is nice today, it is a simple statement what you are passing, right? But when you are transforming this statement, is weather nice today, meaning to you, it ignites the more detailed conversation from the person, right? If I will say the weather is nice today, so your response come yes today, yes, right? Normally the response is going to be. If I will say, is weather nice today? Then automatically your response comes, yes, today is nice weather, but day before yesterday it was more nice than today, right? So it automatically going to give you the detailed response the way we are going to ask the question. This is just an example. Contextual enrichment, it is about providing the AI with additional information to better understand the context of the prompt, right? So in this case, we can supply some of the background details, some of the historical data, or specific scenarios that frame the questions more clearly, right? Such as just simply asking about the weather. What's the weather like for an outdoor event this weekend? So you are giving in context here that you want an outdoor event over this weekend, and on this context, you want to know about the weather information. So that way, you are going to, uh, enriching the prompts. Another is a question formatting. So in case of a question, let's say, for example, the impact of technology on society, right? So it could be how and technology impacted the society, correct? So this is the way we are going to transform these statements. Multiple prompts like what is AI, followed by how AI is used in the healthcare, right? So we are giving these chaining of the prompt together, the one statement, then after another. So this could be also possible. uh, These are a simple text-based example, but this can also be possible into the image-based creations as well, right? So it is not the case that the examples which is mentioned over here, they are related to the text, but how they are going to be used into the uh, design scenario. Definitely, they are going to be used in the design scenarios. I will share examples of it in the upcoming sessions. So that's all for today's sessions, right? And I hope this all is going to alleviate your information about the AI, right? And you would be more confident in terms of talking about the AI, what the AI is, what is the generative AI is, what is fundamentally what is the deep learning is, how the AI is going to transform this entire landscape, right? And I feel now you would be more confident and having the kind of a faith like, okay, this is something which is very assistive technology for us, right? And it will be a game changer into the industry where monotonous jobs are going to be over, where more focus would be on the creativity, right? So now I am open for the questions. Whatever the questions you are having, feel free to ask any of the questions.
Yeah, hi everyone. If you have any questions, kindly put it in the chat box. If you have any questions, any queries, any confusions, kindly let us know by putting it in the chat box. Yeah, Adarsh, can you specify a bit about what we will be covering tomorrow?
Okay, so next we are going to be come up more about you know uh, like the prompts, like how are the different ways we are able to write the prompt, right? We will share some of the examples as well, right? We'll showcase all the things with the different type of the prompts. Some of the hands-on we are going to be performed, right? At least uh, we all have a some kind of a flavor, right? With a one or another AI tool or the generative AI tool, right? And we'll see how these are going to be impact on all these scenarios, right? So that would be our next session, which would be more about the practical exposures of these things.
Okay, can you specify any particular AI tool which you will be showcasing?
Well, I'm going to use a very basic tool, not a very prominent tool, but if you are having any suggestion, feel free to share with me. Uh, I'm going to use Copilot. Why I'm going to use the Copilot? Because it is able to create the images based on the Delhi, first thing, right? Second, it is also able to showcase both the things parallelly. One is the text based, another is the image based, right? So it will be quite easier for me to explain them, right? Obviously, the prompt what I'm going to write on a one AI tool, if you are using the same prompt on your suggested AI tool, so output will variance definitely would be there, right? Because as all the dictionaries are having a different definition of the different words, similarly, one of the prompt what I am giving to the Copilot, that would be, and that is going to give the different result if you are using the same on the mid journey or stable diffusion or maybe any other ones, right? So
Okay.
my suggestion, like primarily, I would like to work on a Copilot. But if you are having any suggestions, please do let me know. We are able to
Yeah.
work accordingly.
So if you have any suggestions, team, kindly let us know in the chat box. Any particular platform on which you would want a little exposure, then Adarsh can share his knowledge on that platform as well. So if you have any suggestions, kindly let us know. Do they need to install or load Copilot on their systems?
No, there is no need to load the Copilot. Uh, they can directly access by using the Bing or the AS browser, right? And
Okay.
there is no additional requirement of installation or loading this one.
Okay. Yeah, so if you have any suggestions regarding any exposure you want on a certain AI platform, you can suggest it in the chat box. If you have any more questions, kindly let us know. Okay, so there is one question, others, like if
Yes.
someone is generating an image, but
Okay.
every time AI comes up with a new design, so is there any way consistency can be maintained?
Consistency in terms of a background or in terms of the design?
I think it's design. It's design.
Okay, consistency actually it's a generative AI, right? And it's an iterative process, right? So until unless you are not, there are certain parameters in some of these different models, right? You need to do some of the setting changes, so it will retain those few of the parameters for the design what you are passing on, right? Otherwise they are going to be changed every time because it's a generative thing, so it will create every time a new set of the uh, images, right? But still there are some of the parameters which you are able to fix on, that depending on the type of the model you are using, you are able to make the changes in the settings of that model, but not the entire design. Only few of the parameters you are able to restrict them.
Yeah, that's about it. I don't think there is any more questions. That's about it.
Perfect.
So, yeah, thank you everyone for being a part of the session. And also thank you for making it an interactive session. So we'll be there tomorrow, same time, and we'll share the next.
Swagata, not tomorrow, day after tomorrow.
Yeah,
Sorry, day after tomorrow. Sorry, day
Yeah,
after
day after
tomorrow
tomorrow.
on the 19th.
19th, yeah, we are 19, 3 to 5. So thank
Yes.
you, others. It was a very knowledgeable session, and I hope the first time who are going to use AI, they will definitely got a fair idea how to use AI and what is the history of AI. Okay, so day after tomorrow, other sir is going to use one tools to show you the practicality of this AI, how to generate the image with the help of prompt engineering. So thank you very much, Adarsh sir. Thanks all.
Thanks, Pradeep sir. Thanks,
Yeah,
Aditya.
thanks.
Lot.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks all. We'll meet day after tomorrow. Thanks.
Thanks.